Knock, knock. Who's there? Fish custard. Yeah, Miss Martha's making fish fingers and custard today. I've got a lovely 2 pounds of cod over here that I'm going to do a tempura air fried fish fingers with, and I've got some stale Hawaiian bread and hot dog buns over here that I'm going to use to make a bread pudding with vanilla custard sauce. It's a little bit of organization and kind of like an assembly line to this menu. So what I've got to do first is get my bread. I'm not going to take all the crust off of it. I might take some of the crust off of it, but you need to leave a little bit on or all your bread's just going to disintegrate into a mush. And I like my bread pudding to be almost like how monkey bread is. You got little individual pieces within it. So I've got to get this sliced up. I'm going to put a little cinnamon sugar on it. Once I get into 1-inch cubes, I'm going to put it on a baking tray. I'm going to put it in an oven at 200 degrees. And while that's drying out, so that it won't be so mushy in my bread pudding, I'm going to start my custard on the stove over there. I've got a little bit of organization skills to do here. Get my little things, my assembly line going here, and I'll pick back up with you. You go get you a cup of coffee. I had a little frog in my throat there. I'm going to get a sip of Diet Pepsi, and we'll pick back up on things after I've got the bread diced. So hold on, and thank you for joining Miss Martha today. Okay, my bread has been cubed. My oven is preheating to 200 degrees. I'm going to spray it with some buttered, lightly, with some buttered flavor, non-stick spray. And then I'm going to sprinkle liberally cinnamon sugar on it. Now, you know, if you haven't splurged, because this stuff is expensive on its own, but I got a lot of it was on sale back at Thanksgiving and it keeps forever. You can make it yourself with 4 parts sugar, 1 part cinnamon. So if you just got a little small thing that you're doing, like some French toast, you're going to need 4 teaspoons of sugar and 1 teaspoon of cinnamon. You stir that together in a little bowl and set that aside. That's your cinnamon sugar to sprinkle out over something. If you need more, 4 tablespoons of sugar and 1 tablespoon of sugar. If you're doing like monkey bread and you're going to make your own. But I've got some cinnamon sugar that I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this up first. If I run out, I know how to make more. I just told you how. As for all the other ingredients here, I'm going to try to remember to go through them with you as I'm using them. If not, as always, down in the under the description of the video will be the proportions of the ingredients and the directions, instructions of how to recreate the dish yourself. So we're going to spray it with butter, non-stick spray, and coat it with cinnamon sugar. And I'm going to stick these in the oven. And then we'll pick back up making the custard. Okay, while my breadcrumbs are drying out in the oven there, which is on very, very low heat, I've got to separate my eggs from my egg whites. The egg whites I'll just put aside. I'll save those in the refrigerator, and I'll use those to make my husband an omelet tomorrow. But it's only the egg yolks that are going to go in here, so I have to save the egg yolks back into a bowl there. In my pot that's going to go on the stove, I've got my milk and my heavy cream that I'm going to put on the stove, bring to a boil, take it off the heat, add the vanilla to it, and then bring it over here. And that's where I have my sugar. Oops. Knocking it all over. My sugar and my egg yolks over here already mixed up. And you're going to have to add just a little bit of the hot mixture, whisk it into your egg yolks. A little bit more of the hot mixture into the egg yolks, a little bit more of the hot mixture. So you've used half of your hot mixture, and then you can add all of your egg back into here, and then mix it up, take it back off, and then bring it back to a boil. So you're making a custard with it. So off camera, I'll save time. I'm going to separate my eggs. I'm going to get my milk measured off and set it on the stove, but I'm not going to turn it on yet because that's something you have to watch. I can't just leave it over there and like I'm boiling spaghetti and just let the water boil. I got to watch it so it doesn't scald to the bottom of the pot. So we'll pick back up in a minute. Okay, I'm keeping an eye on my breadcrumbs in the oven there, and this is the egg yolk and sugar here. I've got the milk, regular milk, and heavy cream on the stove top that I'm watching over there, and once that comes to a boil, I'll bring it over here. I'll add the vanilla to it, and then I'll add a little at a time, whisk it in here, this back into that, cook that back into the custard, and then everything else is smooth sailing after that. This is the complicated part right here because this is where you can make a mistake is with your custard. So kind of be careful at this part of the stage of the process. We'll pick back up in a minute. I gotta get back on and watch the milk. Okay, my milk and heavy cream has come to a boil. I've added the vanilla off the burner. I've turned the burner from high down to medium so I can take this back over there. Now I've got to add a wooden spoon out the way. I'll need that back over the stove, not here. Okay, we're going to have to add a little bit of the hot mixture into the egg yolks that have the sugar in them already. Slowly. right, this is going to take a while, so we'll pick back up with you guys. Okay, I've got half of the hot milk mixture in with the eggs. Now I've got to switch gears, and now I'm going to be adding the egg mixture into the hot milk mixture and whisking that. And then once that's all together, we'll go back over to the stove and heat it up over medium heat until it comes back to boil and it thickens up like custard. Custard, you know, this is something when you've got somebody in your family with that COVID and they got a little sore throat, you make them an egg custard from scratch, and boy, it'll taste like heaven to their little throat. You don't have to do the whole recipe, just make the custard. Okay, I gotta get back to this. Okay, my breadcrumbs are out of the oven because I don't want them hot when I'm trying to add the milk to them, making them a bread pudding, so they're out so they can cool. Okay, custard's ready. You can thicken up a little bit more as it cools. It's lovely. Give it a little taste. Ooh, hot. It's hot. Oh, that's delicious. Ooh. And it's expensive right now too with the price of eggs. Let me move this out the way. Off to the side. Not putting it back on the heat. These were my, this is the bread that we've diced up earlier and let it dry out in the oven. We're going to add 2 cans of evaporated milk over that, let that soak. Okay. Move this out the way. We'll get started on the rest of the things for the bread pudding. All right, have my melted butter that I'm going to put in the bottom of the casserole dish in a minute when it cools. Just come out the microwave. This is the eggs, sugar, and spices. I've got to mix this well, and this is going to go on top of the bread that's been soaking in the milk. That'll go into my buttered dish. Then we're going to pour a little bit of sweetened condensed milk on top of that. And some of our custard, we're saving the rest of that for when it comes out baked, and people can use that and drizzle over the individual servings. So, yeah, this was the harder part of the menu today, was the custard and the bread pudding. So, hold on, we'll pick back up in a second. Okay, my spice and my sugar, my egg mixture have gone on top of the milk soaked bread. And this is going to go into the buttered dish. Hang on. I'm going to drizzle the sweetened condensed milk on top. Save time when my videos always run long, don't they? I'm sorry for that. Okay, the sweet condensed milk went on top. You see I put it in a little baking sheet underneath it because sometimes it's kind of looking like it's full here. I don't want it to bubble over and burn on the bottom of the stove. But let's stir up the custard. Let's just put a little bit of our custard that we made, a little drizzle, top. Keep that flavor profile going through. Beautiful. All right, let's show you what it looks like. Oven is preheated to 350 degrees. This is our bread pudding, or our custard part of the fish custard, fish sticks and custard, Doctor Who 11th Hour. One of my favorite programs. All right, bread pudding going in the oven. Oh, it's heavy. Woo. I'm going to check it at 20 minutes, but give me a second here and let me move all the pudding stuff out of the way and get my fish stuff organized. We'll move on to the fish sticks. It's easy at this point. Some beautiful cod fillets. Let's open that up and check those out. Beautiful fish. Beautiful fish. I'm going to rinse this in cold water and I'm going to pat it dry on paper towels, and then I'm going to cut it into fingers. So I don't cut my fingers. Okay, my fish has been cut into fingers. It's got just a little bit of salt and pepper. That's all that's on the fish right now, after it was rinsed and patted dry. This is my buttermilk, bowl 1. This is buttermilk. Bowl 2 is self-rising flour and cornmeal. And bowl 3 is going to be our tempura. It's got corn flour and all up. You know, read the description at the bottom to show you all the ingredients, because the same flavor profile, all the spices, except this one's got baking soda, baking powder in it. All the spices went through all bowls of the stages. We're going to make it the tempura batter now. Add the liquid, which is going to be, you could use any, you could use beer, you could use any clear soda. I'm using Sprite. It's going to take a few minutes, so I'll save time. I'm running long on the. Okay, I'm going to set me up a little assembly line here. I'm going to take the salt and peppered fish. I'm going to go into the buttermilk. I'm going to go into the self-rising flour and the cornmeal mixture, and then I'm going to put them in a little bowl set on my side. The next one, the next one, the next one. The reason I'm not going all the way through to the next bowl to the tempura batter is because I want to do this. Once I've got them here, we're going to move over to the stove, because I'm going to turn the oil on. At that point, I'm using a canola oil, and I've got about 1 inch in it. So maybe I'll have to flip them. I might not have to flip them. We'll see. But what we're going to do is we're going to take the ones that have been through to the flour stage, and we're going to get to the tempura real quick. We're going to go into the hot grease. We're going to flip it over, take it right back out. Tempura into the hot grease, flip it over, take it right back out. It's just enough to set the tempura batter on it, because I find if you try to put something in like this in the air fryer, it's just going to drip all off of it. Even if you're just doing breading on the outside of it, breadcrumbs, or just flour on the outside of it, it just blow all off in the air fryer. So to set my batter onto my fish or chicken or whichever meat, poultry, whatever I'm frying that day, you can even, you know, people fry vegetables, you can fry broccoli. So anyway, to set the batter onto it, I'm going to do it at the last minute right before I go into the grease and move it out. So give me a second. We're going to move the camera over to the stove. Okay, all of my cod, my fish has been pre-battered at this stage. It's going to go one piece at a time. We're going to the tempura, then it'll go in the grease. I've got the grease turned on. It's heating up. I'm using a canola blend. Let's take a peek and check in on our bread pudding while we're waiting for the pan of the skillet to get hot. Ooh, she's pretty. She's not ready yet, but she's pretty. Look in there. Check her in a little bit. Smells delicious. Alright. Put me a little crunch in there, and when that starts bubbling, I know my grease is hot enough. Alright, into the tempura batter. Shake off any extras, into the grease. Okay, stay right there, Chihuahuas. Mom, I'm going to splash on you. Okay. Flip it over. My extra little crunchies. Take it out. Put it on the air fryer. So on and so on and so on. When you get too many little crunches, you're going to have to just scoop those out of your way. All right? And then, okay. We'll pick back up. Okay, I've got the first batch, the 2 trays full. Let's get them in the air fryer. Minutes. We clean up a little bit here, and we'll have to do the next fry. Okay, the air fryer just beeped. I've got to rotate my shelves. Down the shelf. enough. 390 or 5 more minutes. Start. When that comes out and they come off the little trays to go to the air fryer, I'll do my last batch in the air fryer. Let's check on our bread pudding. Ooh, woo. If I got my glasses, can't see. Oh yeah, you can see it from there. Can you see it? It's gonna be so heavy. I'm trying to bring it over to you. It's ready. I'm gonna cut the stove off. I'll let it off. Rolls like a souffle. See if I can lift it. Well, burn yourself, Miss Martha. Beautiful. Leave it there for right now, off in the door open. Okay, we'll pick back up in a minute. I gotta clean the stove off a little bit here. Okay. Fish fingers are coming out. How lovely they look. Put them over here on a wire rack, cool for a minute. Because once they cool, I've got one more little batch to air fry, and then I'm done. Woohoo! Okay, I finished my fish custard. So let's sneak a little taste. I don't want to mess up my picture for later. Sneak a little taste of the bread pudding. That's delicious. I'll get a little clean fork here. Let's make a little piece of fish. I gotta get a little piece of fish back here. Oh, look how pretty he is. Nice and white. Tender. I'm not brave enough. I've got extra custard. If anybody wants to dip their fish fingers in the custard. I'm not going to. I'm going to eat mine separately. But thank you for watching. Enjoy your fish custard inspired by the 11th hour episode with the fun fez wearing Doctor Who. Full description and a list of ingredients and directions of how to recreate the dish will be on my YouTube cooking channel, Miss Martha Loves to Cook. God bless. Take care.